Yo, what is up, guys? Today I'll be reacting to the Sports Illustrated Top 100 prediction for the 2021-2022 NBA season. Let's get started. So, at number 100, we have Jordan Clarkson. I mean, it's solid. I got a series above him to really debate if he should be higher or not. 99, Zubac. I mean, he's just a good all-around player. I like his game, but I mean, I definitely would take Jordan Clarkson over him for sure. 98, Larry Nance Jr. I do like Larry Nance. Got a good versatile game. Just injuries are a bit of a concern with him, but I love the fit with Portland. 97, Tyrese Halliburton. So they're predicting the rankings for next year. I think he might be higher. I love his game, but he might be here because of his rank of his team being so bad. I think the Kings might make some a little bit of noise next year, possibly. Him, Davion Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, big three at the guard and wing position. I like that big three. And you mix in Buddy Hield and those guys. I like that. Tim Hardaway, I really like his game a lot. Uh, Absolute sniper. 95, John Isaac. If this dude is healthy, he's going to be so much higher. Like, Jonathan Isaac is such an elite defender. I think his offensive game is also developing. It's just, it's really sad because we haven't really seen him play too much, obviously with him being out all of this year and parts of last year. Like, I just hope he can stay healthy. That's the main thing with him, health. 90. Let's get past 94. Malik Beasley. Okay, this is disrespectful in my opinion. This dude is a 20 point per game scorer, 40% 3-point shooter. He's an absolute bucket. I love his energy. I'm taking him over Derrick White all day. I do like Derrick White, but Derrick White's a good player. I mean, I guess the Malik Beasley ranking is not horrible, but I do think he should be higher. Norman Powell. Man, there's must be a lot of good players in this list. There's some buckets right here. I love Norman Powell. He was not as good on the Raptors. That man was a stud this year, but on the Trailblazers, he was a little worse. But I mean, I think he'll bounce back this year, especially after they gave him that contract. I mean, they believe in him. So do I. Evan Fournier, I love his game. Man, there's just so many good players in the NBA. Like, these dudes are such elite scorers right here at the two guard position. I think him for the Knicks is such a good fit. He could be their sixth man or probably be closing games for them at the end of the game. Yeah, I really like Evan Fournier. Jay Crowder, I love him. I thought Miami losing him was a huge factor to their lack of progression in the playoffs this year. I think he is big time. I mean, he's not some star, but he just plays his role very well. He can really just do everything. He's a nice catch and shooter. He can play D. I love his game. I love his attitude. 89, Derrick Rose. Mm, that's solid. I mean, I'd say yeah, he's in this tier of. I think Norman Powell would be higher if he would have stayed in the Raptors most of the year. I think joining the Blazers kind of hurt his stock, but yeah, I mean, solid ranking. Andrew Wiggins. I definitely think he should be higher. I mean, as a Timberwolves fan, I hated him for the stint, but I mean, he wasn't that bad, but I like the dude a lot now. I think he really needed to change his scenery. Hate's a strong word. I definitely did not hate him, but I just didn't like him at times. But I'm really glad that we got a guy in D'Lo and he got a fresh start. I think that's what he really needed. I love his game. I think he was an amazing 3-and-D player this year. I mean, I like him a lot. Jiren Jackson Jr., another guy like John Isaac. It all depends on injuries. This guy. It's so hard to evaluate him as a player because he's usually hurt like pretty much a half to three-fourths of every season he's played. But when he's on the floor, this man can be an elite rim protector and he can stretch the floor obviously with a 39% field goal percentage. I mean, I love his game too. I just hope he can stay healthy, just like John Isaac. I could see Jackson, Wiggins, and John Isaac being much higher at the end of the year if health is a factor for Jaren and Isaac. And if Wiggins, I feel like he should just be higher. I mean, this guy had a really good season last year. Yeah, I think he should be higher for sure. 80. Oh, never mind. I mean, I think Valanciunas is better than all those guys. This guy, I think was one of. He was definitely the second best player in the Grizzlies last year. I mean, that dude he was amazing. Like, every game I watched of him, he was just like he was their centerpiece pretty much. Obviously, Ja is the dude there. He's more talented, obviously, but this dude was just he does everything. He's a double double machine. I think he's extremely underrated. I'm taking him over Duncan Robinson 7 days out of the week. I'm taking pretty much a lot of these guys over Duncan. I'm taking Jaren over Duncan, Wiggins 100%. I respect the two-way ability of Wiggins, Jiren, and Valanciunas. I respect Duncan, but I definitely don't think he should be ahead of guys like Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, and those guys. I do like Duncan though. Dylan Brooks. Oh, I love his game too. 3-and-D guy. This Grizzly team has a lot of dogs. I don't understand that Steven Adams trade. I mean, I think Valanciunas is just light years better than Steven Adams. I guess, yeah, they got that first. They're going to free up cap, I guess, but I really love Valanciunas on that team. As a Wolves fan, they were kind of one of those teams that we had a leapfrog, and now I feel more confident that they lost Valanciunas. He always gave cap problems every game. 83, Jarrett Allen. I love his game too. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Cavs do with other big men this year, because they got a lot of guys that need minutes, and yeah, it's gonna be tough for them. Brook Lopez. Um, mm, I think he kind of had an off year from three ball wise, but yeah, I think I'd take Valanciunas and Jarrett Allen over him personally if I were to build my team right now. Seth Curry. I think that's a little bit high. I think uh, that's a solid ranking. I'm definitely taking Wiggins, Jackson, and those guys. Maybe even John Isaac. I'm pretty high on John Isaac, but I also have to take into account that he's never been healthy at all in his career. So yeah, it's all right. It's an all right ranking. Covington. I'm definitely taking Wiggins over Covington. Covington, 100%. Like Covington's a very, very good defender, obviously, but I think that's a little bit high. But I mean, it's not a horrible ranking whatsoever. Buddy Hield. See, I think Tyrese Halliburton is a better basketball player than Buddy Hield. I think he is going to result. He's going to translate to winning way more than Buddy does. But Buddy is a bucket. You cannot, you cannot say no to that. I mean, he is a bucket. I do see him being traded to like maybe the Sixers or get traded throughout the year. But that's a fair ranking. I would definitely take a bunch of players that were behind him, like Wiggins and those guys, Jiren Jackson, Terry Rozier. That's a good ranking. I see Edwards. Better not be here. Terry Rozier, I think he's become underrated. He was a little bit overrated on that Boston stint. Like he was underrated at the start of his career. Then he had that beast playoff run, and people were like, when Kyrie left, they're like, this guy is that dude, you know? Well, no, I guess they left the same summer, but I think he got a little overrated. But now I think he's very underrated on that very young and promising Hornets team. 77, Anthony Edwards. So they did say at the beginning that this is predicting for next year. I think he is going to be far higher than this. I think he's going to be a top 50 player. I think he is. If I had to do, I'm going to make my list soon, but I think this dude's going to be a top 50 player next year. I'm almost booking it. Like, I think this guy is going to take the leap. He's going to jump guys like CJ McCollum. I already think he's jumped, but a lot of people don't think that. Karis LeVert, RJ Barrett. This dude is legit, I'm telling you. Yes, the first half wasn't so good, but Ryan Saunders was such a liability. He put him in horrible situations to succeed. Second half, when Chris Finch was hired, this dude looks like an all-star. Simple as that. Everything increased. Like the thing that why I'm so high on him. Yes, I'm a Wolves fan, a little bit biased, but I mean, this dude improved every single month of the year. You can look at his splits. This man improved every single month. And the main thing with me for young players, one of my favorite things about young players that most guys don't have is confidence. This dude's confidence is insane. He could be shooting 4 for 17, but the next play he could dunk on your team's best player and turn the whole game's momentum around. Like this guy is that guy. He's that guy. I mean, I'm so high on him because of his confidence, his progression throughout the year, and he's literally like 20 years old. I I'm much higher than consensus on him, but I just believe in this guy so much, like so much. I'm gonna make a video separately about him, but I'll say I think he should be much higher. 76, Lonzo Ball, another guy who I think is gonna have a great year. I think he's finally found a team where he can just do what he's good at. He's not forced to score. He's with guys like Vucevic, Levine, DeRozan, three guys that are 20-point per game guys easily. He's gonna facilitate and clamp your team's best guard. As simple as that. Like this guy, I think he's become underrated as well. I mean, he was overrated, obviously, as we all know. On the Lakers, his hype was insane. But I feel like he's kind of flew under the radar. You know, I think he is an extremely talented player. I love his game. And at 75, Dinwiddie. Hmm. I'm taking Lonzo over Dinwiddie. I'm doing. Uh, Dinwiddie's good. I think it's really hard to rank a guy that you didn't see all of last year. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to rank the guy like that. But Dinwiddie is this. He is a bucket when that man's healthy. But I think I'm taking Lonzo for sure. All right, Bogdanovic. This dude, I really respect his game, but I think I'm taking Lonzo Ball over him. Taking Edwards 100%. But I mean, he's a 3-and-D guy. His defense is kind of falling in my opinion, but I love his game. I feel like he kind of got overrated because people remember when he was in the Pacers, he kind of played like very good defense against LeBron. But I mean, he's a bucket, bro. He's like a Walmart Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very fun to watch. Dejounte Murray, another guy he's kind of hard to rank, but I think this dude's gonna have a legit year. I mean, I think he's all defensive team, second team lock. I love this guy's game. I think, hmm, I think the Spurs are gonna be garbage this year. But I think he's gonna have just a good overall individual year. I do like his game. Joe Harris, I'm taking DeJounte Murray, probably Bogdanovic, Dinwiddie, Lonzo, Ant-Man, Rozier. I'm taking them all over Joe Harris. What I saw in the playoffs very concerned me. But I mean, I think he'll bounce back. He'll bounce back 100%. But I'm I'm not a huge. I don't really love just the strictly 3-point shooter guys like him and Duncan. I would love to have him on my team, but I do value guys like Lonzo Ball, defenders that can also shoot the pill. I value them more. I think he's a better player. Colin Sexton. If I had to make a team right now, I'd rather have Lonzo Ball than Colin Sexton. I know people love the flashy scoring, but I like Lonzo Ball's complete game more. I feel like Colin Sexton is a little bit more one dimensional. I do need to watch more games of Sexton. I've only watched like about 5 to 10 last year because I do love him and Garland. Is Garland on this list? No way they ranked him above Sexton. No way. Garland's kind of a snub. I think Garland will be top 100% next year. Miles Turner. I think it's a solid ranking. I think he's right around that tier. I don't know if he's like Valanciunas is like 20 spots behind him. I think him, Valanciunas, and Jackson will be in that kind of same tier. Especially him and Jackson. They're kind of those three and rim protected guys. But he is probably the best rim protector in the league besides Rudy Gobert. So yeah, it's a solid. Is this Kemba? Ooh, I do not agree with this. Although I do think he's gonna have a big bounce back this year with the Knicks. But I mean, I'm taking Anthony Edwards. I'm taking Lonzo Ball. Yes, I know his scoring is flashy, but I gotta see it to believe it because he looked rough on the Celtics for a couple of years. But I mean, it's respectful. It's out of respect. That guy was a bucket on the Hornets. He was a bucket on the Celtics, but he didn't impress me as much. Jingle Bell Joe. Ooh, I don't like this ranking whatsoever. This is bad. I don't like this one whatsoever. I mean, I really respect him though. I mean, he's an NBA Iron Man. This dude has been playing for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I think he should be much, much I think him and Bogdanovic are on the same kind of. Well, I think Bogdanovic is better personally. I think Jordan Clarkson might be better. To keep it a buck with you. I'm not a huge fan of that. Harrison Barnes, he's just another good solid dude. I think there is more talented players, but he plays his role to a T. I'm taking a bunch of guys ahead of those two. I don't like those two picks. Christian Wood, the disrespect is insane. This dude he was a near All Star last year when healthy. This guy, I think he should be much higher. I mean, this dude was like, yeah, as it says right here, averaged 21 points per game, 51% from the field. Like what? I think he should be much higher. Nurkic, I definitely would take Wood over him. Taking Wood over Bogdanovic. I do respect Bogdanovic, but that's a solid ranking. But I feel like 60 to 100 is just so tight. Like if you put Tyrese Halliburton at 64, would I be that mad? I would not be that mad. And he's like 97 on this list. Um, 63 Aaron Gordon. Uh, that's a solid ranking. I mean, he another guy that just plays his role. There's a lot of role playing guys and elite teams in this area. I'm kind of starting to see. I'm definitely taking Christian Wood over him all day. I was screaming for everybody to sign Christian Wood. 15 million a year. That's an absolute steal. 15 million a year for a guy that can average 20. Well, say on an elite team, average like 17 to 18 on efficient shooting. I mean, I don't understand why Christian Wood just gets disrespect. He was hurt last year. I mean, I guess you have to take that into consideration. Eh, yeah, I don't know. I think Wood should be higher. Levert, I'm taking Edwards over Levert all day. All day. That's just my opinion, but I'm taking Edwards over Levert all day. I do like Levert though. I think Levert's he's gonna be a bucket this year for sure. He's gonna be a top three option on that Pacers team. D'Angelo Russell. I think he also has become. I know it seems I am kind of a biased T Wolves fan, but I think he's become underrated, bro. I mean, this dude can give you 20 and seven. We'll say 6 assists. Be generous. Like I think he's a bucket. He also is more one dimensional, but what I saw in the second half, him and Cat Edwards, they all bought into the system. They were playing very good defense for the second half of the year when he was healthy. I mean, I think D'Lo, he's gonna shock a lot of people next year. I think if he stays healthy, this dude's gonna jump back into top 50, 100%. Marcus Smart, another guy. I love this dude's game. I mean, I think what do they get him for? Like 18 mil? This dude he's just an all around beast. I love his attitude about the game of basketball. I mean, he just brings it every night. I think there's definitely more talented players of him, but he leads to winning, just like this next guy does right here. One of my favorite young dudes, OG Anunoby. I think I'm saying his last name wrong, but whatever. OG, he's one of my guys. I think him, Darren, they're gonna take big leaps next year. I think this guy, we already know that he is an elite wing defender, so versatile. I think he's gonna get his shot creation down this year. I think he's gonna take a big leap. Now that Kyle Lowry's gone, that opens up shots. I think he's gonna be big time this year. Porzingis, I think he also is underrated as well. This dude was not that bad during the regular season. He had a meltdown during the playoffs. Not really a meltdown, but he wasn't. He just wasn't Porzingis of old. But he's not a bad player whatsoever. I mean, he still can give you 20 points on 40% shooting. I know he's basically a 7-3 shooting guard, but I think he'll go back to the post. Like Mark Cuban said, he was playing his role. I mean, I don't know how much you can buy into that, but just watch him on the Knicks. This dude, he was a menace. This man was just KD post scoring over your head. I mean, I think he's in a big year. I could easily see him, D'Lo, top 50, 100% all day. 57, Clay Thompson, another guy hard to rank. I think that's a little bit disrespectful. I I guess they are basing this like we got to see if he's healthy. If this dude's fully healthy, he's a top 30 NBA player, 100%. Top 40, we'll say. I guess yeah, you got to have a little concern with the injuries. Deandre Hunter, oh, I love this dude. I think he's gonna be big time this year too. I think yeah, he's a guy. Him and OG are guys I'd borderline take over Edwards. It really depends on what you value because these guys are both great defenders. I think OG and Hunter are Hunter is another guy that I think is gonna break out this year. He kind of did last year, but I think he wasn't healthy during the playoffs. So now people are really gonna see when they're in the playoffs how good that dude is. Jeremy Grant, I can respect that. Um, uh, him and Hunter, I'd say are kind of the same type archetype. Yeah, I think it's a fair ranking. Maybe a little higher. John Collins, love his game. Oh, I love John Collins' game. He is just a three and dunker. His defense is solid. It's all right, but him next to Capella is like a perfect fit. All these forwards right here, OG. Yeah, I mean these are solid. These guys are all very close. Mikal Bridges. This dude was like I saw on Twitter like 4 free throws away from being on the 50, 40, 90 club. I don't think he qualified for he didn't have the correct amount of free throws attempted. But this man he's a winner. As I said, in the dictionary, he's a definition of a 3 and D player. This man's a beast. He's underrated. I hope they can re-sign him. I don't know if they're obviously. I mean, they might be able to keep, but CP3 sounds like he's getting the bag. Obviously, Booker's getting the bag. Aiton's gonna get the bag. So it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure if they keep him. Michael Porter. Ooh, that's I like that. I like that ranking. I think he's gonna. This is just insane to think that there are 50 players better than these guys. Because I think Porter's an average 24 on 50%, 55% field goal percentage, 42% from three. I think he's gonna have a monstrous year. The main thing with him for me is consistency. This dude, I've watched so many Nuggets games. They're my second favorite team. He fades away so much in like the fourth quarter. Like he gives you a pop off 2 quarters, like 30 points, pops off, and then just sits in the corner and fades away. I need to see consistency throughout a whole game this year, and I have no problem calling him a top 40 player. No problem. I need to see consistency. I know he can do it. Obviously, he can do it. Look at his field goal percentage. This dude is a 20-point bucket. I mean, and now that Jamal Murray will probably be out. I don't know what's the timeline, but for sure out like around Christmas, but probably way later. But I think he's in a big year this year. His defense is a big concern, defense and consistency, but we all know what he can do with scoring that ball. Hopefully, he gets a little off ball. I mean, not off ball, a little better, isolation scoring. He's already such a good off ball scorer. I mean, yeah, I respect the ranking. LaMelo Ball. Okay. Um, that's a fair ranking. I don't think him and Edwards. Edwards is at 80. He's right here. I don't think there's that big a gap. I think Edwards should have won Rookie of the Year, but I think if LaMelo Ball was healthy the whole year, he would have won Rookie of the Year. LaMelo Ball can lead your team. I like the ranking, but I think Edwards should be. I think Edwards should be. We'll give these guys respect. Edwards should be in this like 60 range ish. Personally, I think that's should be the baseline. He should be in top 60. Personally, my opinion, I think he'll be a top 40 player this year. But yeah, I mean, I think these rankings are good, but they do have some guys that are disrespected a little bit. But yeah, LaMelo Ball is not a horrible ranking. Yeah, guys, this concludes the first video from 100 to 51. My next video will be whatever they're, 50 through 31. I'll be reacting that later today probably. And yeah, guys, have a good day, and basketball's coming. See you later.